Hey, welcome to Pod of Mercy. I am your host, Longhair Linda, and our special guest co-host today is...
Myself, Big Talks, Tremaine Smith. I'll be AJ Edwards on this podcast. I won't be Tremaine Smith.
Oh, do you want me to label it that way as well?
No.
No, okay.
Don't turn down. Sorry to interrupt. Don't
It's
turn
okay.
down.
See? He wants me to be this way.
Yeah, be you, innit? That's what the people want.
I'll be AJ Edwards today.
Are you AJ Edwards?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was your full name. What's with this
names.
Tremaine Smith? What is that?
He's he's a figment of my imagination.
Clark Kent. Wasn't he?
Okay. Can we not play with this when
Why?
we're playing with sound?
Oh, sorry.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, he's somebody I created. I've had a lot of aliases over the years.
Okay. You like a good alias?
Yeah. I was
Pause.
Adrian at first. How is that a pause?
It's not. It was just funny.
Alright, fair enough.
All right. So I don't know if you've listened to you've listened to podcasts before, right?
Every single one.
Thanks, friend. Right. So we'll start off with a rapid fire round. It's 45 seconds. You've got 10 questions to answer.
Go on.
Do you think you can do this?
Probably not.
Come on. Of course you can.
I don't like rules.
What do you mean you don't like rules? What has this got to do with rules?
Because I must answer in a certain space of time. Like, it's just... No, we'll see.
All right. So I'm about to start the timer. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. And go. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast.
If you could be from any other era, which would you choose?
The 90s.
You were in the 90s.
Yeah, I'd stay in the 90s.
Okay. Favorite cartoon as a kid?
Powerpuff Girls.
Restaurant or home delivery?
Home delivery.
Last song you listened to?
Trey Songz, Love Faces.
Dream car?
Audi A7 Sportback.
Biggest pet peeve?
People that don't like me because I feel like I'm a really nice guy. So it's like, if you dislike me, if you feel like you have issues in general. But yeah.
Favorite musician?
Trey Songz.
Name three
/
things
Chris Brown.
Okay. Name three things that make you happy.
Myself, my son, and God.
Favorite item in your wardrobe right now? Oh, we're out of time.
Turtleneck.
We are out of time. You
Nah,
just
got
missed it. No,
You're,
you didn't.
you're asking the questions slowly.
I was asking them the same way I've asked all the time.
I think it was a bit slow today. That's not my L, that's yours.
So it's my L.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll take it. Fine. That's okay. All right. So, Tox.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to discuss a particular topic with you.
Good.
Going into 2020, as we're now towards the end of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be a bit more brazen, trying to be a bit more, I don't know, trying to embrace the spirit of you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be a great topic to go over with you because I feel like you're that type of person. You tend to just put things out and say you're going to go for them, and you do.
I don't feel like you're not that type of person. That's not
Okay.
the vibe I get from you.
Okay. Vibe can be deceiving though. I have a lot of
True.
self-doubt.
Really?
Yeah. It's better now, but it was really bad before.
What do you have self-doubt about?
Loads of things.
Like what?
I have, I know it's quite common, especially in women, is I have like imposter syndrome. So sometimes like I'll be at work or I'll just be doing something that I'm skilled at in some way. And someone will tell me I'm doing a good job. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, at some point, they're going to figure out that I'm not supposed to be here or I'm not supposed to be doing this thing.
I had a client like that today. And she literally said that about her job, innit? She was a
Yeah.
business manager for, well, I'm not going to say who, but it's like a big deal. And she was talking about how she doesn't feel like she deserves to be in that position. I was like...
It's quite common, especially among women, like I said, and it's something I've struggled with for a long time. It's better now. I'm getting there, but it does. I think it stops me from going after things that I want, or at least it has done in the past. So,
Where does that come from? Like, because I don't get it, innit? Like, how can you have a job,
mm-hmm.
and bear in mind you would have gone through like an interview process
yeah.
with however many hundreds, if not thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
When you give your CV and it would have been like thousands of people. And then you whittle down, you go to the interview, and then you get the job. You and maybe a few other people. How can you then be in that job and feel like you don't belong?
I think
What logical sense does that make to you?
it's definitely not logic. It's based on like emotion. It's based on self-doubt rather than the logical part of my brain. Logically, when I'm doing my job, I'm like, I know I can do this. I'm good at X, Y, Z. I'm good at, whatever it is, I can do it, and I do it, and I have, evidence of me doing whatever it is. But there's a feeling of, especially when I'm getting praise, that's when I struggle the most. If I get a compliment on something I'm doing, I all of a sudden feel like, oh, one of these days they're going to figure out that I'm not supposed to be here, and they're going to fire me and get somebody else to do it. That's just in job wise. That happens with other things, like with friendships or whatever. I'm like, oh, one of these days they're going to figure out that I'm not this great person, and then
but then they wouldn't just praise you, innit? Like, the very nature of this world is we don't like giving praise, and we don't like hailing people up, and we actually prefer to be more negative as people.
I think we're encouraged to be more negative. We get a lot of engagement in this particular time because everything is very social media based. So there's a lot of engagement in negativity.
Right.
But I don't think we don't like to give praise, especially if we know the person. I think we do give praise as a people, but
I disagree.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we're the exact opposite. I think we're happy to be negative. We're happy for people to fail and not do well. I don't feel like we're as forthcoming with positivity. So if someone is forthcoming with positivity, that means like you're actually doing a good job in it. I feel like the fact that you feel that way is to like kind of validate your imposter syndrome, if that makes sense.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, you could be right there.
I'm definitely right.
Okay. So, all right. So with that being said, obviously I feel like you're a very confident person, and you seem like the type to go after what you want. So what gives you the confidence to do that? Where does your confidence come from?
When I was 3, my mum used to make me like say a lot of positive shit about myself.
Okay, so you were doing affirmations before they were trendy? They
were affirmations, yeah. The main one she used to say was rooted in my actual image, though. It wasn't rooted in anything like... I'll do it with my son, but it'll be rooted in his intelligence or how good his reading is or his skill with numbers, things like that. My mum would root mine in my looks.
Okay.
So this is why I feel like I'm God's gift. But the one she'd make me say specifically is... I'm absolutely gorgeous and incredibly beautiful.
Aww.
And I'd say that daily. And she'd always like with her friends or other family members, oh, look what AJ can say, you know what I mean? Tell them what you say, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like my ego comes from there specifically. And then it just kind of like, it feeds itself from that point forward.
Yeah.
Like it's self-serving, like it's self-sustainable. This is why I have mirrors and shit in it. Because if I feel like I'm gorgeous, I can look and check and be like, okay,
yeah.
Still gorgeous. Do you know
what I mean? Not gone away.
No. So yeah, that's why I have mirrors and shit. So yeah, it just sustains itself.
And that gives you confidence for doing other things?
Not necessarily.
So where does that side, outside of your looks, where does your confidence come from?
The things I do. Like, I know whether I'm doing a good job or a bad job, because I feel like no one's more critical with themselves than I am with myself, so I feel like I'm very honest.
You're critical about yourself?
Yeah, well, you just won't see it.
Okay, so you wouldn't show that to anybody, but
any issues I have with myself, I'd iron them out before they got to you.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't have the chance to tell me anything too negative about myself. I'd probably have known it before you let me know.
I can relate to that. I do that. I think I use that as a coping mechanism. So I'd said, instead of doing positive affirmations as a child like you were inadvertently, I was doing negative affirmations, if that's a thing, where I would say all of the things to myself that I thought other people would say to me, so that when I was in school or whatever, if somebody did say something mean to me, it hurt a little bit less because I'd already said it to myself.
Right, so
but the downside of that was that, yes, it helped me cope with not very nice kids, but as an adult, it meant that I carried on saying not very nice things to myself, even when people were saying good things about me.
Right.
And so I was listening. You always listen to your inner voice more than you listen to anybody else once you're an adult anyway. So my inner voice was already negative. Even when other people were being positive, I could really only hear my own voice.
Right. So you know that?
Yeah, logically I know that. But emotion and logic are two different things.
Do you not think that you can change that?
I do, and I think I am changing that. So as I've grown, as I'm getting older and experiencing more things, I'm like, I spot myself doing certain things, and I little by little try and change it. And I think I've got to a point where I'm more able to be kind to myself, because one of the big things that I did when I turned 30 was say...
You're 30?
I'm 32.
No way.
I am. So when I turned 30, I was like...
I didn't know.
When I turned 30, I said, I wouldn't say these things about my friend.
Right.
Why would I say them about me?
I can't believe you're 32.
I am. Do I look younger?
Yeah, you're like
Thanks,
26 or
friend.
something.
Thank you.
Big cracks.
I still get ID'd, and that makes me feel good. I got ID'd literally today. I'm so excited.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I think I started to think about how I speak to myself. And I actually noticed that things were getting better in my life as I spoke to myself in a better way.
Gotta regulate your thoughts, innit? Like, one thing I've learned as well is you can challenge your own thoughts. So if you catch yourself saying some negative shit about yourself, challenge it, innit? Say, you know, this isn't true. This isn't actually how things are. Things are not what they appear like. You can actually like challenge yourself and plant your own seeds in your mind instead of letting your mind just chat shit to you all day long.
Okay. Do you think it's harder for specific type of people to be more brazen? Do you think it's harder for, say, people of colour, black people in particular?
Yeah, because if you was to roll around with the ego I have, people would not like you.
Because I'm a woman?
Yeah.
Especially a black woman? Yeah.
It would be more accepted for me to say and do the things I say and do.
Yeah. But
if you was to say and do the things I say and do, it'd be more of a problem.
See, I experienced that even recently. So I won't say where I work, but where I work, I have a department that I'm based with locally, but I'm also part of a larger department that's regional.
Right.
And every now and again...
So you're doing bits?
Yeah, doing bits. Every now and again, we will have like a meet up with the regional team where we'd all meet in one city, stay over, like have, you know, kind of like an away day. And the head of the regional team, so not actually my boss, but he heads up that team, which I'm part of. I do not like him. He's one of these people that's on all the time. That has to be the center of attention, has to have all of the jokes, but isn't funny.
He sounds like someone I'd get on with.
Maybe, but he's not. He doesn't have the endearing quality that you have.
I'm very charming with mine.
Whereas I feel like he just has all of the negative, and you're like, oh, I can't have a conversation with this guy. I can't even listen to him talk.
So he's insufferable.
He's extra, super insufferable, but way worse than you. Anyway, so he was just. I made one little crack at the start of the meeting. At like 9 a.m. or whatever time it was, about him being an Arsenal fan. I don't even follow football like that.
Right.
But I just made a little joke about him being an Arsenal fan. And the rest of the day, he like picked at me. Just little things. Kept going back, oh yeah, but I bet Linda wouldn't like that or whatever, right? So by 4 p.m, I'm like, this guy needs to leave me alone at this point. There are other people in this room and he's just picking at me. So I just started firing back. And every single time I said anything, it would be like, oh, you're feisty today. Oh, you're being aggressive today. And I find that whenever I say things, I'm aggressive.
Yeah.
If I don't say anything, why are you so quiet? Why don't you say anything? Why are you so introverted? And it's trying to balance that and being like, I just don't want to be called aggressive because as soon as you call me aggressive, I want to be aggressive because you're wrong. That makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. But it's something that you have to deal with as a black woman in the UK, innit? And it's like a buzzword, innit? It's Flawless in the background.
Flawless just making all of the
pure
noise.
racket. My apologies.
I'm so sorry, especially to headphone users. Jeez.
You can edit that out. My apologies.
What, in the middle of a sentence? I can edit that out.
Yeah, Tox can say it again. You can say that again. My apologies, though. I'm so sorry to the listeners. Not you too. I'm sorry to the listeners.
Banging up the door, lifting up bags and shit.
I didn't bang up the door. I'm just trying to sort out the place. Continue the show on it. Fucking idiots.
Okay, anyway. Go on, Doc. Sorry.
I can't remember what I was saying.
Something I have to deal with as a black woman in Britain.
Yeah, you should be used to that, innit? Like, you
I am.
need to,
It doesn't mean it's great though.
I know it's terrible, but at the same time, it's something that you should come to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of coming to expect something, it can't really catch you. Like, you shouldn't then have any type of emotional response to it, even as unfair as that is. If you know,
crazy.
It is.
You can't switch off an emotion, and if you do, that's slightly sociopathic.
But you can. I'm slightly sociopathic.
I know.
But you can prepare for.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not unprepared for them. I expect them. I go into situations knowing that the probability is that it's going to happen, but.
I'm not saying this.
What I mean is it still makes it difficult for women, for black women, for black people to be more brazen, because you have to consider that. You have to go, oh, is this going to come across as if I'm being aggressive or if I'm being too much, or do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying it's not unfair, and that comment that you made to him would be endearing if I made that comment.
Yeah.
Even though I have my own struggles as a black man, I know it's nowhere near close to what you have as a black woman. Just being, if you was to be as confident as I was, it would be problems, whereas my confidence actually leads me to promotions and jobs that I've been in and things of that nature. So
what about, this is another group that we're both part of, what about like millennials? Because I feel like we're so disconnected now, and I think I've seen a post from you actually on social media where you say like, lol, someone just tried to ring me and I just look at it, I don't answer phone calls or whatever. And I think that's such a common thing now, which is mad. We're so, even though we're more connected with social media and the internet and everything, we're actually super disconnected in real life. Like, we don't know how to have real life conversations.
For me, right, me being disconnected from people is, number one, I am naturally antisocial, but I'm very social as well at the same time. But number two, these days it's more so about protecting my own energy. You don't know what people are gonna bring to you, their energy. And this is one of the reasons why, if Flawless calls me, even if I might not pick up straight away because I'm busy, I'll always call him back, because I know, I've known him long enough to know that he's never going to bring me any negative energy, even if it's a problem that he's calling me about. It's just something that's not going to tilt the balance of my energy off, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Whereas other people can be so negative, it can affect you. And there's this girl in work that is like the prime example of it. I had to tell my manager, like, because we like moved office, don't sit me next to this person in it. Like, I don't want to, we don't even sit like directly next to people, but I'm like, I don't want to be around in her vicinity. Yeah. Because it'll be 9 a.m. in the morning and she's already vexed about anything daily. Mm-hmm. It could be anything. She's vexed about anything daily. Don't put me near this person because it will tilt the balance of my energy. Yes. So I feel like it's important to ignore the shit out of people and protect your own space. And do what you need to do. Like, I don't apologize to anyone for that. Like, people moan at me for it, or if I call you, you don't pick up, or shit like that. But I don't make no apologies for it, because that's the reason why I'm able to keep my mind where it needs to be. Yeah. So we are disconnected, but I feel like it's a good thing. I've noticed I do that more and more, in the sense of like, I'm trying to protect my energy. Because I didn't realize until very recently how much other people's energy affected mine. Mm-hmm. I always, I always saw myself as strong, or, like, if someone's having a bad outlook on something, it won't affect how I look at things. And then it's almost like I woke up one day and was like, no, I'm really affected by this stuff. And even when I don't want to be, even when I don't think I am, it really does affect me. If your energy is off and I'm around you constantly, because it's too much for me to deal with. And so I do the same thing with like protecting my energy, but I also use the phone. Like, if people ring, I'll answer the phone if I'm able to, or I use the phone at work. Are you going to take my mirror away from me? I'm taking your mirror because it's going to be an annoying little click sound. This is what, go on. Throughout the podcast. If you can hear it clicking, it's because I wasn't able to edit it out, but I've taken his mirror now, so hopefully that should stop. Anyway, the reason I brought up the disconnectedness of millennials
was, do you think that can affect millennials, either older millennials like us or younger ones, being more brazen if they don't even know how to communicate with people at this point?
It's not. I feel like we know how to communicate. It's choosing not to, innit? Like, it's communication on our terms, innit? I'll communicate with you. I'll be the life of your life.
I'm sorry, you'll be the what?
The life of your life.
How does that make sense?
How does that not make sense?
Make it make sense.
The life of your life.
How does that not make sense?
Make it make sense.
Does that make sense?
Sounds wildly arrogant.
I know it sounds arrogant, but like, I can switch it on and off when I feel like it. So I can come into a room and light it up if I feel like it. I can just decide not to one day if I don't feel like it. But if I decide not to, that's my choice, innit? I can communicate, I can like be the life of the party, but it's on my terms, innit? Does that not make sense?
It makes sense, but I just don't like the phrasing of life of your life. But let's move on.
I feel like it'll be a good Insta caption, to be honest.
You would. So, what advice would you give to people who are struggling with being brazen and asking for what they want?
Pray to whoever you pray to.
Okay. What about people that are non-religious?
I feel like you should have a belief system in something. If you don't want to, I'm not necessarily talking about religion. My look on God / the universe is totally divorced from religion in my head. But find something higher than you, more powerful than you, that you can submit to, whether it be God, the universe, karma, I don't fucking know, like nature, which is God anyway. Like, find something higher than you that you can submit to, and that you can kind of like give your problems to.
How does that help them be more brazen?
I think that helps me be more brazen, because when I'm having vulnerable moments, which I do have, people feel like I don't have them, but I do have them. The first thing I'll do is find something higher than me to actually communicate that to. If you want to personify it and have a friend you talk to, or everyone needs someone to offload to. My choice of who to offload to isn't a person. I won't call Flawless and offload to him. That's something very rare that happens. I'll offload to God, the universe. Once you offload from there, like, you can't be brazen and confident and go for the things that you want if you're weighed down by the things that you don't want. So you need a clean slate first and foremost. My whole thing as well after that is meditation. I try to meditate for at least 15 minutes every day. Meditate for the things I'm grateful for. I always suggest to people, because people ask me this a lot, like how I think, the way I think and whatnot, and mine like starts with gratitude. I every day meditate for things that I'm grateful for, whether it just be waking up, whether it just be for the sun shining through my window when I wake up, just small things, big things, whatever the case may be. But I have that system to like kind of, how to explain this? So there's like a feature in your brain, I'm going to call it a feature, yeah. It's called the reticular activating system. What it is basically a filter. So if you're a negative person and you just see negative things in your life, it will filter negative things into you to just align with what you think and feel already. If you realign your brain to look for positive things, it will look for positive things in your life instead. How the filter works, for example, your mum could buy a new car tomorrow. It could be a Nissan Qashqai, and you might have never seen this.
Bro, how do you know my mum's car?
Does she have a Nissan Qashqai?
Yes.
Maybe I followed you home one day.
Whoa, that's super weird.
Is she in Manchester?
No, she's in Essex.
That was just random. But right, it could be a Nissan Qashqai. I had a client today with a Nissan Qashqai.
Dude, that's really freaked me out. Sorry, okay, continue.
Maybe that's God telling you that what I'm telling you is like...
It's legit. Okay, go on.
But like, it could be a Nissan Qashqai. You've never seen this car before, but now your mum's got it. tomorrow you go out and you see it 5 times just in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's your brain filtering into you. It feels like it's important for you to know now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the whole basis behind gratitude and like making lists of gratitude and things like that is to train your brain to look for more things to be grateful for, and it absolutely works. So I'd practice gratitude as well. From there, once you kind of like got a clean slate and once you're filtering in gratitude into your life, I would say the next step is to just either you do or you don't when it comes to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
You need to simplify things. We build things up. If you like start a podcast, for example, or you want to start a podcast, you might deliberate about it for a long ass time. The
like
best thing
3-4 years like me.
Yeah, there you go. The best thing to do is just fucking switch on your laptop and do the shit. And it's done, innit? Like, we build these things up to be so big, and all it actually comes down to in the end is a small choice. Like, either I'm gonna do it or I'm not. Yes or no. And you gotta find a way to simplify things in that manner, innit? If you don't, you're just gonna continue building up the things that you want to do until you kind of cripple yourself with fear to the point where you can't do them. I done this recently with the whole Mic Check Media. They was doing a show on Halloween.
Yeah.
They asked me to perform, but on my own. And I've never done a music performance on my own before.
Okay.
And I built that shit up so big in my head to the point where it crippled me and I didn't do the performance. I pulled out like a week before. I was like, I can't do this. And even Flawless was shocked, like, you've bowed in front of like 1,000 people before. Like, how can you not go do a 10-minute performance? And I'm like, I don't know. I know the shit doesn't make logical sense, but I just can't do it. It's just a big deal to me right now.
Yeah.
And he was mystified because he never seen me like that, innit? But that's the power of your brain, innit? Yeah, your brain will just build something up.
Yeah.
But your brain at the same time can break something down, innit? So it's just up to you how you use your brain.
Okay, that's some good advice.
But someone as sick as me, even I can like talk myself out of shit.
Yeah, I've done that a lot. I've done that a lot. I've talked to myself out of a lot of things. Do you think there could be? So you gave quite a few different tools that people can use. Did I even answer your question? You did. You gave quite a few different tools. Do you think that there are different tools for different things? So if it's about like a performance, like you said, that you'd need to maybe do something else, and if you're trying to go after a relationship, you should try something else. Or if you're trying to do something for your career, you should use, or can you kind of just use a mixture of all of them?
I would like to think that on a basic level, submitting, meditating, and gratitude would be 3 things that you can apply to everything.
Okay.
How you then apply your brain to tackle whatever it is specific will probably be different when it comes to different things. Okay. So like with the music thing, my way of getting over that is leaning on my brothers to do a performance with me on Boxing Day. Mm-hmm. From there, I'll probably be comfortable enough to perform on my own after that date.
Okay.
But in that instance, I'm leaning on people for help. I'm submitting to people as well. I've actually told them, and they've laughed at me and whatnot, like, rah, you're you in it, like King Ego, like I don't understand this in it.
Yeah.
But I've submitted that. We've got the banter out, and they're gonna be like there for my support when it comes to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it comes to something like a job or whatnot, I don't know. I guess the same principle exists. You can lean on people, but that would be something that I would try simplify. It would depend what you're trying to go for. How to tackle it would be different. You can't tackle everything the same way, I guess. But the first 3 things of submitting, meditation, and gratitude, I think that's a good starting point, if that makes sense. I don't feel like I've answered your question.
You have. No, you've given us some, at least for me, I definitely have, I agree with a lot of what you said.
But I feel we need to be specific. What are you struggling to apply yourself to or ask for?
Me personally? Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a lot of things.
Let's deal with them.
No, let's not. That sounds like a therapy session right there. No, but I think I understand what you're saying. Like, I've definitely been focusing more on being grateful for what I have. Especially when I look around now and realise just how blessed I am.
Do you feel more blessed since you've been more blessed? Do you feel more blessed since you've been practicing gratitude?
I don't know for sure, but I think before I was consciously trying to practice gratitude, I started feeling more blessed.
How do you practice gratitude?
And I kind of, each situation that I'm in, I try to find the silver lining. And I'm like, okay, especially if something's going wrong, I'm like, okay, but you know what? It could be worse because at least I still have X, Y, Z.
Right.
And then I think because I went through quite a big change recently as well, like with a friendship that I had for so long and my living situation, and a lot of things went kind of woo at the start of the year. And I kind of forced myself to be a bit more grateful because I was looking around and I was like, you know what? I'm feeling down right now, but things could be a lot worse. I have this, I have that, I have this, and I just started listing them, and it made me feel better, and I've just kind of continued doing that.
Do you still list?
I don't list. I kind of go through them as I'm experiencing them. So if I come home from a long day of work and I'm in a crappy mood because something's annoyed me at work, I get home and I'm thankful that it didn't start raining until I walked in the door. Little things like that. I'm like, whew, I just made it. Like I walk in the door, lock the door, it starts raining. I say thank you for that.
That's a skill. Being able to find the silver lining in situations is, to me, one of the greatest skills that you can have, but I think it comes directly from being able to practice gratitude on a regular basis.
I used to view it as whenever people, because I knew people who were able to find silver lining and stuff, I used to view it as people not wanting to confront situations because I was always very confrontational, still am. Not in a bad way, because I think that word's been used to kind of be negative, but I think like if there's a problem, I like to just address it and get it over with, whether it's with a person or with a thing. I like to just do it, get it over with, so it's not on my brain anymore. But I always viewed if you found the silver lining and stuff that you would not want to solve the problem. But as I've grown older, and as I've learned how to be more grateful for things and find the silver lining for things, I'm actually like, no. It actually helps me solve the problem quicker because I'm not stressed out going into it.
Yeah.
Because I've taken the time out to be like, it could have been a lot worse. This, and this is going right. I can go, okay. It helps me to focus on the thing going wrong so I can fix it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Before, I wasn't looking at all the things that could have gone wrong. I wasn't being grateful for all the things that were right. And then trying to tackle the thing that was going wrong, and I'm just stressed going into it, and it just made things so much more difficult.
So you're already tackling it like on the back foot.
Yeah, you're already in a negative space trying to tackle something that's probably very difficult to tackle. But now I find I'm going into it a bit more optimistic because I'm like, well, you know what? It could have been a lot worse. We can deal with this. This is nothing. We can deal with this. And having that attitude helps me to do a better job, or at least do it quicker.
The way I see it, like it's that old adage, innit? Like, look on the bright side of life.
Yeah.
And because I simplify things so much, like, because I'm so mechanical in how I think, it is literally either an A or B choice that I'll simplify it down to. You either look on the bright side of shit or the wrong side of shit, and the choice is yours, innit? Like, there's no middle ground for me. Like, it's either good or bad. It's either black or white to me.
I can't function like that. My brain won't let me function like that because I have to see the nuance in things.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to, this is why I wanted to discuss it, because I'm trying to figure out a way of applying what I've learned so far in 2019, how I'm approaching life in 2019, and do it even more in 2020 so that I can be more brazen. It took me up until now, like I say, I was thinking about doing a podcast for 3-4 years, probably longer. And it took me until now to do it.
What does brazen mean to you? You mentioned this word a few times.
Brazen, I love that word. Brazen basically means like almost unafraid and going after what you want without, not necessarily without consequence, but without doubting yourself.
I think there'll always be fear in anything we do.
There'll always be fear, but I think brazen is doing it anyway. Like, it's kind of just being like, yeah, okay, it's, blah, 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 it's scary, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and go for it. And that's what I want to continue and to do even more of next year.
I'm reading a book at the moment called A Course in Miracles.
Okay. Who's it by?
Marianne Williamson. And I
love her.
She's fucking amazing.
She's so great.
She's running for president at the moment. She's
She
not going to
is.
get
She's not doing
anywhere
very well.
close.
No.
Because everyone's full of shit. But, right, what's great about the book, right, is it's right up my alley in terms of simplifying everything.
Mm-hmm.
It literally boils everything down to two choices, love or fear. And you can either choose fear or you can choose love. And love is like an umbrella term for everything positive. So I like to feed my brains with things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And things like the Oprah Super Soul podcast.
I still have to listen to
Oh
that.
my God. When I tell you, yeah, and the really short episodes are only like half an hour long.
Okay, I can do
And there's
that.
like 200 of them. I listen to one episode every morning, and that's just part of my morning routine. I wake up, pray, get in the shower, whilst that's playing on my speaker. By the time I've come out of the shower, cream my ashy skin, done my hair, the episode's finished. And she has all these people on that are authors, people like Marianne Williamson. She'll have on actors, spiritual leaders, Buddhist monks, nuns, just everybody. But all the walks of life that these people are from, when you've listened to enough episodes, and I've probably listened to maybe 50 of them, you realize that they're all saying the same thing, but just in different ways. And they're all talking about having something higher than yourself to submit to, and gratitude, and the choice of either choosing love or choosing fear when it comes to your day-to-day life. And when you hear the same thing said from all these different people that are successful in their own different ways, not just people that are just rich or celebrities, or she does have those people on as well, but when you hear the same thing being said from all these people, you do realize how simple it can be, but you do have to top yourself up on a day-to-day basis in order to maintain that way of living.
Which makes sense, because you have to do that with everything. You have to do that with everything else. If you work out, you have to work out constantly. You can't just do it once every 3 months and expect to be fit. It doesn't work.
Exactly. So I feel with you, if you was to build a routine sort of like I have, because I started mine at the start of this year.
Yeah.
And my first thing I did was cut out social media. I'm still on social media, but all my notifications are turned off, so it can't just pop up to me. I have to make the decision to go into it, so I'm ready to see whatever's on there.
Yeah.
But cutting those things out and making sure in the morning to start my day off, I feed myself with what I need to feed myself with to tackle the day. Whatever gets thrown at me, no matter how bad it is, I feel I tackle it from a better position than I would have if I didn't have this routine in check. And even there's some days where I don't meditate every single day. On the weekend it tends to does not happen. I'll still pray, but the actual sitting down and meditation, it doesn't happen.
Your routine is different.
Yeah. And I have my son as well, so it's just it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But by Sunday night, I can feel myself slipping a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So by Monday morning, I need that fix of the meditation. Often I will get it in on Sunday night, because if I don't know, I might cuss someone out or something. I don't know what will happen, but you do need to, it's just your armor, it's putting your armor on. You need to have this armor on before you go out into the world, before you make these decisions. So you need to find out what works for you, and have this routine in check so you can be more brazen, whatever that means for you when it comes to making decisions.
Well, I think that's probably one thing I want to work on for sure in 2020 is meditation. Every time I've tried, my brain is so busy. It's so busy, and turning it off even for 5 seconds seems impossible most of the time. I get bouts of insomnia because of how busy my brain is. So every now and again, I just will have a period of time where I really cannot sleep for longer than an hour.
Really?
Each night, because my brain, I can't turn it off. When I try, it's time for bed, I've done everything, I've gone out and exercised so that I'm tired. I'm physically tired, but I'm lying in bed just staring at a blank wall, just unable to sleep. So that's definitely one thing I want I want to try and master it next year, I think. But yeah.
So what they don't tell you about meditation is there's so many different forms of meditation. It doesn't have to be just the one where you quiet your mind.
Okay.
I tried that one first of all, and I was the same. I couldn't not think about nothing.
So do you do the guided meditation with the YouTube videos and stuff? I
have a specific one from Tony Robbins, or is it Robinson? I can't remember his name. It's literally an MP3 on my phone.
Okay.
It's 14.5 minutes long. And
do you not just find that you're reciting whatever's going on there at some point? Or does that help?
I think it helps focus you.
Okay.
So how it starts, you start with like an exercise where you're like, it's like you're just pushing your arms in the air and pulling them down. And that like helps regulate your breathing. Then he goes into 5 minutes of gratitude, where it's just think of 3 different things to be grateful for. So he'll give you the chance to think of the first one, and then he'll tell you to think of the second one. And he'll go quiet at times, and then he'll chip in every now and then to like refocus you. And he'll ask you to think about like a different aspect of it, things of that nature. So it always like refocuses you on what you're trying to think about.
Okay.
And then he'll do the last 5 minutes of things you want to achieve in the future. And he's just kind of like it's guided meditation. So he's guiding you through it, and he's giving you chances to think for yourself throughout it as well. For me, that's the one that works for me, because I've gone through many different ones and I just couldn't quiet my mind. With that one, it's focusing your mind. It's still meditation.
Yeah.
But it's just not the popular one that you're told to just shut the fuck up and think of nothing. That's not going to work for anybody in 2019, I think. If you're a Buddhist monk in fucking China somewhere and you don't have internet and shit like that, then yeah, great. That'll be fantastic, innit? You don't have sex or nothing. Fantastic. But over here in the Western world, I don't think that will work for people. And I've heard of so many people that say exactly what you said, like, I can't quiet my mind, like I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So have someone talk you through it instead, I think is what works for me.
Send me a link.
I'll actually send you
send me the MP3.
Full MP3.
Nice. Well, thank you. So we're going to move on to my next segment.
Go for it. We're that deep today, isn't it?
So deep today. This is unexpected.
See, that's AJ, not Tremaine.
It's AJ. So this final segment is called Mahakama, and Mahakama is Swahili for court. And it's basically an opportunity for me to judge a person or situation because I'm trying to be less judgmental in my life. I figured if I can just hyper-focus it on the podcast, then I should be fine, generally speaking. So I was recently reminded of this because I randomly thought of it and I was like, oh, that was supposed to happen in July. What's going on? So
you're gonna make me slag someone off.
No, I'm not gonna make you slag anyone off. So did you hear about the porn block?
Yeah, I was so stressed about it. So
a couple of years ago, it was actually signed into law, right? Because David Cameron started this whole while he was PM. He started this whole kind of campaign of making the internet safer for kids, the content that they view.
They just wanted to make some fun.
And they came up with this porn block. So it's supposed to come into effect, no pun intended, in in July 2019, but it's now been delayed till early 2020, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, January, February time. So, just in case the listeners don't know what the porn block is, I'm going to give you the description from wired.co.uk. So, technically, the porn block is a system of age checks. Porn websites will have to show anyone visiting from a UK IP address a landing page that doesn't show any explicit content. So this landing page won't go away until the visitor is able to show that they're over 18, old enough to view the adult material. So formally, it's called age verification, and these blocks will vary in appearance from one website to another, but there's one thing that's certain. This approach is the first set of age checks being placed on porn anywhere in the world.
Is it a joke that I know the ins and outs of like this whole story?
I don't know. Why would it be a joke if it's important to you?
It shows how much I'd watch porn in it. Like, so you can actually like get these cards, like these top-up cards,
You can
Go into
from news
Morrison's,
agents.
yeah,
Anywhere that has a pay zone apparently will do it.
And you can buy one, say like a $5, and you can use that to get onto these porn websites. I'm not paying for my porn in it.
Well, here's the thing. So, I mean, depending on whatever porn site you're trying to access from the UK, they might use a different age checking company. So there's a couple of them out there that exist. One of them is the most popular one, and it's owned by the same people that own like Pornhub and the rest of that little family they've got going on there. No, you know what I mean? Like for the Pornhub network, it has like...
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, go ahead.
I won't continue, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so some companies, depending on this age checking company, depending on the site you're going on, but they'll ask for either pictures of your ID or some kind of credit card information, or both, depending on where you're going. So obviously you'll be able to buy, like you mentioned, you'll be able to buy a porn pass from certain news agents. That's for people that might not feel comfortable about having their details stored somewhere. Because one of the things I thought of is that now imagine you don't get a porn pass. Imagine you enter your credit card details or you send a picture of your ID. Both of those things will reveal who you are, right? And there's some kind of information about you. Now, that age checking company, at the very least, potentially the porn website, your website provider, maybe even the government, who knows?
Everybody
will know what you like to watch.
All your nasty little habits.
Everything that you like to watch. It's all going to be synced up to the same details.
Yeah, so if you like watching pregnancy porn, or
alright, we don't need to give examples.
Brother sister porn.
We don't need to give examples at all.
Mother son porn, father daughter porn.
Okay, moving.
All this type of shit, they all gonna know. They gonna know everything.
So the block is introduced by Section 14, subsection 1 of the Digital Economy Act, of 2017. So the idea of it obviously is to protect children from viewing harmful content, but is it feasible in your opinion? Like, because obviously there's so many porn sites, first of all. How are they going to keep up with all of them?
Because of how they have your internet provider in it under manners. So it's your internet provider that's going to be...
Yeah, but your internet provider can't even stop you illegally streaming TV shows.
They're cracking down on it.
They're cracking down on it, but there's still so many sites. You can still watch a lot of TV online illegally.
True. But because of, there's not that many, well, there is kind of a lot of porn sites, but it's mainly the big ones that you'd always go on. So your X videos, your YouTube,
we don't need examples. We don't need examples.
Your Red Tubes.
We don't need examples at all. We know. Okay. Everyone knows.
Brazzers.
Brazzers you got to pay for. I mean that's a regular site. I don't know what you mean.
But listen, I already knew how to get around it, innit? Because I researched this. I was like, nah, you ain't taking my phone.
You got a VPN.
Yeah.
Okay. So
well, they didn't bring it in, so I was like, all right, calm.
That's another thing. So obviously you can just have a what is it? Is this stand for virtual private network or something? Yeah. So it basically blocks anyone from knowing what your IP address is, which means not only can you avoid your UK IP address being shown, which means you can access anything, but it also helps people who stream Netflix and want to stream US Netflix and not just UK Netflix.
You can actually pick now, and they never used to have this on VPNs, but it's you can actually pick now what country you want your IP address to be in. Which is ill. So like when I go to the Caribbean and I want to, watch Coronation Street, I'm a big Coronation Street fan.
You put it back to UK.
Yeah. But you think that's sick?
That is sick.
So you just need a VPN and you can, but obviously they've stopped doing it now. I don't know why.
So this seems like a dumb question to ask you, but mercy or no mercy for the intention behind the porn block, i.e. to protect children from viewing harmful content?
No, because y'all don't give a fuck about nothing. Like, if you just watch terrestrial TV, we'll see all the shit that y'all put on there anyway, and children have free access to that. Y'all don't care. Y'all don't protect YouTube and things like that. Like, why just porn in it? You're just trying shit. But, you can't trust these people, innit?
So is that a no mercy?
It's a no mercy,
And what about mercy or no mercy on the execution? Do you think this porn block will make it at least more difficult so that kids won't actually view these things?
No, because kids aren't stupid. And like I said, do you ever remember when it was just porn on like late night TV?
Yes, Sex Sector I used to watch. It's like Channel 5 or something.
Yeah, so I don't trust them. Like, I don't let my son just watch TV because you see the shit they put on there, the adverts, like they're not appropriate for kids. A lot of these things that they're talking about, you see that the things that they put in just normal kids TV programs.
Yeah.
My son was watching Mr. Bean the other day, the cartoon, on ITV player. I don't know why he randomly started watching Mr. Bean, but he was watching Mr. Bean. And there's this one episode where there's this singer, this black woman, and you should see the shit that she is wearing. Bear in mind, this is a cartoon.
Okay.
She's got a full cleavage out. She's got these big ass boobs. She's got like this big ass with like no back in the dress and things like that. Mm-hmm. She had this pencil in a boob, and this is a Mr. Bean cartoon. And I come out like, what the fuck is he watching? And I'm wondering why this is the second time that he's playing this episode. But I'm just like doing my own thing, so I've not noticed that he's replayed this episode. And then I'm clocking the reason why he's replaying this episode. So it's like, y'all don't actually care that much about things, because there's things on terrestrial TV and things of that nature that you don't block, just adverts. But you want to act like you're righteous when it comes to porn. These things, if parents don't want the kids to be on them, they'll be blocked in the first place anyway. It's very easy to put a blocker on these things. So
I also think it's important to have conversations with your kids, because they'll get to a point where even a block won't stop them, because kids these days, listen, they can just look at some kind of electronic equipment and figure out how it works. Right? They can get around parental controls. They can probably order a VPN themselves and find a way to get it for free using some kind of Bitcoin account they've got. Like they can do these things. So I think it's important to, yes, have parental controls, yes, monitor what they're watching, but also have discussions with them about what's appropriate, what's real, what isn't, what's just supposed to be entertainment, what's supposed to be real life. Because I think the main issue that I think a lot of people have with porn is that people assume that what happens in porn is what they should be doing in real life all of the time.
Yeah.
Consent or no consent, right? So discussion or no discussion. So I think as long as but you know what I'm saying, right? So like there are certain things that go on in porn videos, whether they're fantasy or not necessarily fantasy, but just how they behave. People take that, especially young people, take that and assume that that's what relationships with other people look like, and it's not.
I've done it myself.
If it can happen to adults, of course it can happen to young people.
I'm going to be honest here. When I was in my last relationship, and it was like towards like the beginning of the relationship, and it was just around receiving oral sex.
Okay.
And
you receiving?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I never was like, I've never in my life been too satisfied with receiving oral sex. And then the chick I was with at the time, she said, do you know why you're not satisfied by oral sex? So I was like, why? She was like, because you watch porn, so you have this unrealistic idea of what it should actually be.
Look like.
And when she said that, I was like, normally I'll argue any point in it.
Oof, don't I know it.
Normally I'll have some form of defense, and I was like,
you had nothing.
You know what? You're actually right. Like, it made 100% sense when she said it. And it's like, I never actually realized that porn had got to me in that way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's helped me for the better. I'm not gonna lie, but in terms of what I should expect from someone that's giving it to me,
you have to catch yourself.
Yeah,
I think if you enjoy, especially if you watch it a lot, and this isn't a judgment. People, listen, that's what it's there for. It's entertainment. But what I mean is, if you consume porn a lot, you have to set your expectations of the other person accordingly, as well as yourself, because you don't want to be disappointing yourself with your own behavior because you expected that you would be like this person you saw, right? Whether you're a woman or a man, but or non-binary. But I think if...
What does that even mean?
So neither gender. Okay, I've lost the ring. I'll get it. Neither gender is non-binary. So
right, learned something new. Where did that go?
Don't worry, it's over there. I'll grab it. Don't worry. Yeah. So I think whoever you are, whatever you like, I think the issue is, the main issue is with porn and how people relate to porn is that you don't get the conversation at the beginning of porn. I'm not talking
me.
about the pizza.
Like,
no, hold on. I'm not talking about, the pizza delivery guy or your best friend's girlfriend. I'm not talking about the storyline.
I need the storyline.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying
you can't just start the thing and you just get right to it. I can't. I need my porn to be like 40 minutes.
No, I get you. I'm not talking about that though. The thing I'm talking about is in real life, there's usually a conversation at least that should take place. Where you discuss what you like.
Yeah.
Right? What you're expecting. What you are willing to do. There isn't usually that conversation that happens in porn. And so I think a lot of people, when they're going into it, especially if they consume a lot of porn, they just assume they can do stuff. They can expect stuff. Yeah. There's no conversation of, hey, listen, by the way, I really like when XYZ happens. Oh, I really am kind of into trying blah, 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 blah.
If you're
isn't that.
Yeah. You need to let people brazen. You need to be
people brazen. Hey, we're bringing it back full circle.
Because you can't just, especially in today's day and age, think you can do what you want.
But I think in general though, like the act of sex or any kind of sexual relation is very intimate, and I think if you can do that, you should at least be able to say, hey, by the way, I want to try this.
People aren't able to say.
But that's what blows my mind, because I just think, and I'm being critical of myself here too. I'm not trying to say that I'm this enlightened person. This is just an observation where I'm like, okay, but why can you not have this conversation, but you're able to do this?
I think from a male standpoint, and I'm not speaking to myself, because I've always, from the start, always had conversations before actually having sex with anybody. But I think men are taught, because through watching porn, that you can just do what you want, and it's the woman's job to just like go along for the ride. Yeah. So. And
I think as women, you're kind of inadvertently taught, because of all the shaming that goes on anyway, but inadvertently you're kind of taught, well, listen, even if you want to try something, don't bring it up. Just kind of like make it seem like it was the guy's idea. Like, why not just say that's what you like? And because then the worst thing that will happen is go, oh yeah, I'm not really into that. Okay. That's literally the worst thing that can happen.
People just aren't open to it.
Yeah,
I never had this problem because with me, the very nature of who I am, I like to put on shows.
We know.
So me sexually, it's a show to me.
Okay.
So I'm there to give. I'm not really comfortable with receiving, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the very nature of me being able to give is I have to know what to give you, innit?
Yeah.
So I've always been able to have those conversations, but I understand why a lot of men don't have those conversations and why they feel like it's just as simple as I've seen it in porn, so this is just
going to do it. Yeah. I think, but like bringing it back to like young people, I think that having those conversations is difficult for adults. So imagine as a young person, like late teens or whatever, you're definitely not having those conversations. You know what I mean?
This is why we just need to not be out here just having miscellaneous sex with random people, innit? This is why you need to be in relationships. And if you can't find no one to have a relationship with, I would strongly advise just not be out here wilding out.
You need to be in relationships. Relationships aren't for everybody.
People say that, but I don't believe that at all. What that means is you just not found a relationship as of yet that was for you.
Relationships aren't for everybody. Yeah, there are plenty of people that are able to function very well without a relationship.
I'm not saying you can't function without a relationship, but I'm also saying if you're not in a relationship, I would strongly advise against just being out here having sex with random people or just having situationships, or you know what I mean, because then you have environments where you're not even comfortable enough with each other where you can sit down and have these conversations.
That's a good point. Yeah, okay, that's a good point. I think I just don't like the way you said should, because it sounds very preachy to me, but that's my own thing.
I preach.
It's my own thing I have to do. Anyway, so we said no mercy for the intention, no mercy for the execution, and I agree.
The government in it, y'all can't take my porn away from me.
With that being said, I don't know if it would make any difference, but I know it will make a difference in other things, and I'm going to go ahead and be political real quick. This is coming out on the 11th of December, which means tomorrow is the general election. Please get out and vote. Whatever you're doing, just please find your local polling station and go and vote.
We're done out here, mate.
We're not done out here. I still have faith. Kind of. Anyway, thank you so much for doing this, Tox.
I feel like this was a really enlightened episode. Look at my jeans.
It was so deep.
What on here?
I don't know. I have got like loads of stuff on me as well. I'm not sure what's going on here.
It's Flawless's yard.
Anyway, you can catch Sarcasm City, part of the Talk About It network.
Everybody meditate in it. It's good for you.
Everybody meditate 2020. So thank you so much for listening. New episodes out every other Wednesday, and I'll see you on Christmas Day, because that's when the next episode is coming out.
Who's on the Christmas Day episode?
I'm not saying.
Why was I not on the Christmas Day episode?
Because I have a plan for my Christmas Day episode.
I think that's disgusting.
You can be on the New Year episode if you want.
I think that's disgusting.
Alright. Well, Tox is going to have a bit of a strop right now, and I'm going to go home. So thank you so much, Tox, for joining us, and thank you, listeners, for listening, and I'll catch you in a couple of weeks. Bye!